There is so much concern. Tensions are extremely high about what's happening in the Middle East, what's happening in Israel, what's happening in Gaza. What does it mean for your projections going forward, for the price of oil, and a possible escalation?
First of all, my deep condolence to the families of those who are affected. And definitely the oil price channel is an important channel for many emerging markets from this saga event. And at this moment, it's a little bit premature to judge what's going to happen. Actually, I was a little bit surprised that in the last couple of days, the market reaction, especially oil prices and exchange rate movement, was relatively muted. But I feel like it's the beginning of the, what's going to happen in the future. So it's a little bit premature to judge at this moment. Yeah.
But, Governor, do you think it's because markets actually don't know how to model this, how to understand, because worst case scenario could be so bad, or just because they don't think that they know exactly what will happen?
At this moment, I think those who are directly affected and engaged countries, the share of their economy, global economy is relatively small. So if this issue will go beyond the regional and across the whole Arab region, then that will have a large impact. At this moment, we really do not know how this will evolve. So it's kind of a little bit premature.
So what does it mean for central banks around the world? They just need to stand ready?
Yes, and for us, for example, we project our economy grow around 2.2% by assuming that the global oil price will be around mid-80 range. As long as these events will keep the oil prices around that range, and I think we probably say that we're relatively immune. But if the oil price goes well above that, then we probably have to revise our growth rate. And also, it's a security issue and the human, life issues. So the impact will be much larger. And you think about how the future international politics will change. That is a very big issue at this moment.
Governor, talk to me a little bit about South Korea. So when you look at the last couple of years, it's been bumpy in certain parts of the economy. Do you worry about a credit crisis, a credit crunch?
None right now. Probably you are talking about our situation at the end of last year when U.S. increased interest rates 75 BPs consecutively, and we have our own local credit events. That triggered, our real estate price started to decline quite significantly. So at that time, our policy objective is to achieve soft landing of the real estate price decline without causing some unintended consequences of our interest rate rise. In some sense, we achieved it. We expect that real estate price may decline more than 20-25%, but looks like the real estate prices overall decline around 15%. So we, in some sense, achieve soft landing. But together with our interest rate pause, and given that the real estate price almost stabilized, now people start to expect whether the price will go up. So in some sense, our concern is moved to the other way.
Right.
Now, how are we going to maintain financial stability in the long term and gradually how to decrease our household debt ratio.
So, Governor, are you saying, for example, household debt risks are not your main priority? Because one of the things is, actually, how can Bank of Korea try to manage those risks going forward?
I wouldn't say it's not a main objective, but my point is it's an issue not in the short-term financial instability, but it's an issue of the longer-term issue. Definitely our household debt over GDP ratio, which is above 100%, is not desirable. So we have to make it decline. But if we have to make it decline slowly, otherwise, there can be unintended consequences. Yeah.
So, Governor, what's your main concern? I know there's been also a lot of currency volatility. Of course, that stems from all of these unknowns and also what's happening with dollar.
Yeah. First of all, I think, as I mentioned, oil price, we are very sensitive to the oil price movement. I really hope that the oil price behaves within the box that we have been assumed. Oil price is one thing. Second thing is the China growth, and we have very much exposure to the Chinese economy, and our export heavily depends on China.
Yeah.
So if China recovers, I think there is some good sign that China's economy is bottoming up. That will definitely help us. And the third thing is that still our economy is very much concentrated. So we are looking very closely the price dynamics of semiconductor. That has been quite bad in the last 1.5 years. But finally, from this third quarter, we see that the semiconductor prices kind of bottoming up. So we'll see how this all risk factors and the positive news will play out for next year.
Governor, there was quite a lot of excitement here because it's the first time that a lot of the international community gets to meet the PBoC governor firsthand. You've known him for quite some time. What do you think we can expect from PBoC?
I think he is a well-known figure in international society. He seems to be quite, capable of and understanding many things going on. And I think he announced several, stimulus packages already. And so basically, good communication at the governance level. We have meeting quite regularly at BIS, and I'm expecting that we share more information with each other.
Governor, we also hear quite a lot about, for example, the Taylor Swift effect on the economies because of inflation and concert tickets. Korea has some of the most well-known, actually, bands in the world that really sell out millions of tickets with K-pop. I mean, do you, as Bank of Korea, have to look at some of these effects?
I think, first of all, I have 2 daughters who watch TV every day. That's a headache, first of all. But I think this K-pop is a very good thing for us because definitely they contribute to enhance our brand value. And then also really create a lot of new industries. And you know that many K-pop companies are now selling NFT, pictures of these K-pop girls. And then they are trying to make a fan to vote depending on their purchase of the NFT. So they are actually realizing DAO, distributed autonomous organization kind of new things. So I think it's not just the music. They are really creating the new businesses for Korea. It's a great thing.